So one of the biggest red flags that I see is when people say that they can accomplish all of this stuff and that they are extremely high functioning with who they are, and they say up front that they could do all of these kind of things. And I think in my head, I think, wow, this is showing somebody's insecurity and what's actually going on. And I want you to realize that inevitably, what's going to happen is that they are going to have a hard time with dealing with things when they realize, like, man, this is a lot more difficult than I thought, and they can't sort of function to get through because they're sort of looking at this large, big picture. I want you to think about, instead of accomplishing this sort of giant thing, right, and thinking about, yeah, I could do this, I want you to think about, what is it in my life that I could do that is the smallest possible activity and still feel okay with who I am. So imagine that the fact that you put on your shoes today, imagine that the fact that you have your clothes on, you're functioning far better. You're a high functioning human being, far more than everybody else, many other people in this world. And what an amazing thing to think about, this little tiny thing that you did. You got up and maybe you had a little bit of breakfast. That is pretty high functioning. And the fact that you can do that means a lot. Now, maybe you got into you got into work, you commuted into work. That is phenomenal, right? Like, that is beyond what most people can actually do. And then maybe you sat down, or maybe you were able to do a little bit of work and you did 5 minutes. And that is way better than everybody else, right? I want you to think about all these kind of things, right? These little tiny things. Instead of thinking about, I am the best and I can accomplish all of this kind of stuff, and I could do these sort of large things, inevitably you're going to let yourself down when you realize that life is a lot more difficult than you thought it was. And I think it's such a myth, and I think it's such garbage when I see, people teaching their kids that they need to face the world head on and not cry and not have all of these sort of experiences of what it means to actually be human. I think if you reverse the story and you think that, I'm going to experience those things. I'm probably going to cry. I'm probably going to have some really rotten days. I'm probably not going to be able to do a lot of things that I thought I could. If you reverse that story and you focus on those things, and then you think, well, wait a minute, I did those things. I cried. I had a lot of bad days. I was able to do this little tiny thing. And all of those things, I had all those experiences, and I'm still here. I'm still functioning. I'm still okay. If I view myself in that way, life is not that scary. It's no longer that scary anymore. And, there might be something that you're afraid to do, right? That there is something that you would just never go. And then you try that thing and you're like, why was I so afraid of that? Why is that such a daunting task in my mind? And if we look at all of the little things that we can do, or if we set ourselves up for these massive big things that we can do all these things, and I can square my shoulders, like the typical business guru talk and all that comes, like the whole business culture. And it doesn't matter what field you're in, if you're in industry, if you're an academic, if you're a legal guru, whatever, it's all the same nonsense. It's all the same. I am some big macho person that walks in, does all this stuff. I want you to, instead of looking at that big macho person, whatever that is, just walk in and say, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm okay. I'm just going to get to work, right? And that was one lesson that my dad really taught me. That was, both of my parents taught me. It has, this whole talking thing and, saying that you're going to do all these things. Man, there's so many people that are just full of it, like 99% of the people. But you look at the one person that gets out, gets going, and does that thing every day, and you think, my God, that's an amazing thing. That person is the real deal. That they're doing the right thing, right? And that person inevitably, that goes through all of the challenges, right? Like they're getting up, they're still having the same feelings and experiences that you do that makes you want to stop. But they get up and do it anyways, right? So I want you to think about that. You're going to experience all of these negative things. You're gonna cry. You're gonna go through every possible negative thing that you'll ever imagine. But so what? Right? Like, so what? That's the process. That is the life that you're going to go through. And once you destigmatize all that stuff, right? Somebody's going to make fun of you, all that kind of thing, like everything. Once you think, like, I survived, I got through, I'm still functioning. Once you do all of that kind of stuff, it's not that big of a deal. And who cares if you cry? Who cares how people look at you? Who cares all of that stuff? Who cares? Just get going. One day, one little step, every day. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day.